Hello everyone, welcome back to this AI class. Still, we are suffering on the coronavirus uh, outbreak. This is the second week for our class, AI. Still, it is running on an online class. So by the way, this morning, and this week, I'm going to deliver some issues, which has been very hot topic recently. That is on digital transformation, which is called shortly DX. So DX is a quite important topics these days. Why? Because the uh, the outbreak. Uh, Outbreak of that coronavirus, but recently that is been a hot topic on AI because that has been uh, widely spread out for every business sectors. They will be emerging into a uh, uh, hardware to software. So some will say about that digital twin systems. Real manufacturing companies will encompass so many devices, machineries, and much more parts that will be incorporated into cyberspace, into digital forms. We call that twin. So those digital twin is quite widespread out. But first, starting under this situation, I'm asking you how much you are happy or you're enjoying life here. Yeah, even we are facing that difficulties while we are spending our time, which you do feel happy. There will be standpoint ground zero. So we are going to start from that status. So my philosophy is once you have born, no any other chance. So while you're staying in the on the world, then you must be sustained and happy. So probably our classes will be also delivered in a happy time. Okay. So currently, actually, we are facing our world. Our world itself is quite a big populated society. So much that society encompasses with populations of more than 7.4 billion. That is 2016. So currently, I think I heard 7.6 billion really in 4 years. So maybe that kind of tenants will goes on the end of this year century. And then on the 20 uh, after 21st century, so at the beginning of the 22nd century, probably there will be bridges to 14 billion populations in the whole world. A really big number of the population. Actually, we are not so sure about that populations increase, but we can project our future. So while we are spending the life and approaching to that the end of this century, maybe so many not only on the populations, so many other effects in the case of the climate. So the climate will change quite much. There causes food shortage or air pollutions or water pollutions. So many kinds of pollutions will be also a hot topic or a world phenomenon in the future. But we may have a very good solutions in the middle of that time passes, then probably we can solve that problem. Then that is very lucky too. But we can encompass or we can experience in that changing, which else will be affect to our human life. So we must be a bit cautious of our work and our world too. So so that the world is going to be much more complex. So even in the during the periods of the complex, we must understand the world how we can overcome or if, take those obstacles in front of our uh, heading. So probably we are experiencing the fast telecommunication system and with the massive transportation systems. That will give us much more highly linked to be a complex. So the not only on the connections between the people. So currently, actually, we are running our online class. These online classes will cover on uh, uh, covered on YouTube class or YouTube platform, and that is connected by the telecommunications, not only LTE long-term evolutions and 5G. So actually, we are experiencing 5G telecommunication speed. That is a very good thing for us to connect with each other, human beings. We are experiencing much more relaxed and very fast way to communicate with each other. And during that period, yeah, quite many continents and tribes will become yeah, so much complex and communicated with each other. Under even this coronavirus disaster, pandemic situations, we are going to be communicated with that in our life. So we are currently communicating by this online by this platform, so we can running our online classes too. So in this kind of a complex society, engineers are going to be employed more deeply to cultivate our human life, sustain to our quality of life and happy. So to that, probably we are going to interface into each other and with devices. So the IoT, Internet of Things or everything, IoT will cover us to support us with wearable devices or other personal devices or so apparatus will give you much more complex information data processing, so we can have a more uh, uh, complicated situations. So probably those devices will give us much more interesting topics or interesting informations for our life. So one more thing is here I am saying about this. We are using the multiple languages actually. So as we currently using this class by the medium of English, it has been destined and designed for this class anyway. In 2011, in a major daily newspaper, which is called Chosun Daily, National Institute of Korean Language president, he mentioned in his article of that Korean Daily at the time, Korean language, I mean Korean, is going to be probably as a home language. What is that meaning? He is the director of that institution, the National Institute especially, of Korean language, I mean. But he mentioned probably in the future, Korean language itself is a home language. What is that meaning? Then, as we are currently using this English class as medium of English, we will be sharing uh, talks in English. So even so many Korean students are listening to this class, but we are using the English. That is one type of phenomenon. Yeah, because so many nearby your friends, they are uh, students from uh, their homeland, so they are studying abroad here in Korea. So in that sense, quite many people are merging together or interconnecting or working together or cooperating, even while they are staying in the same library or same university or same campus. Not only in that classroom, we are going to communicate with each other even after they're coming out after graduations or while they are living in their life, we are going to communicate with them together again, or establishing new firms or enterprise. So we are going to really working together remotely or working in the local area or an office. So that is one type of the phenomenon how we are working in our human 21st century human beings' life. So probably digital platform is very, very strong to communicate or merge or entangle with each other. Not only that, to uh, provoke the uh, level of the human beings' activity in business or in other some specific work. So probably whichever language you have as a mother tongue, but we are going to communicate with more tightly and smoothly in on this digital platform and with multiple languages. So in that sense, I sometimes deliver my job. How many languages do you use or speak? So at the time, probably quite many students you are saying answering, okay, I'm speaking in English and Korean and some other computer languages in C or C++ or Java script, for example, or Python and so on. So yeah, that is one type of languages. Not only in the natural languages, you're also using the computer languages. So that is a very interesting one. So in that sense, you must be a very good communicator. To be a good communicator, you must listen to others, right? What the others' idea while they are delivering their talks. So that is a very important message which is coming from your opponent, his talks or her talks, right? And also you gotta read as much as possible with some specific articles or papers or some other magazine or newspapers, whatever. Others' talks or others' writings, you must read much. And also you gotta decide the impact of that works or of that articles, of their talks in the field or in the world. So if you think much more a better strategy to uh, promote yourself to set up your higher status, and also you gotta have a good strategy to expand your own networks, human networks, or uh, your business networks a better way. So in that sense, probably you are going to use some specific platform like LinkedIn or ResearchGate as a researcher. I mean, so as a graduate student, you gotta write your own papers, so you gotta be much more interested in that, writing papers and articles. In the future, for example, if you are going to be a professional after your graduation, then probably naturally you are going to deliver your own talks or special talks or address in some specific in public area. So in that arena, probably in that arena, you probably are going to deliver your own message to the audience at the time. Uh, you are going to be very prestigious to the audience or to the networks. So to be that, you got to be much more good communicator. What type of strategy you're going to use? So, especially when you're young, especially, you got to take these steps. You got to plan first. You got to plan and have a plan. Of course, they can be modified later. Anyway, you should write down your own plan on your paper or on your notes, and then you do perform that according to your plan. When you do that action, you got to do much more strategic way. After plan, you got to watch out or think all the time what your plan reads. So then you got to follow that plan into specific items or on your own timeline. So you got to do design and after thinking or recollecting your ideas. This is quite simple, is it? But the answer is how much be much more engaged on your own strategy. So the processes or procedure is very very important. So you gotta well define those strategies. So once you do and you do follow, and then redesign and modify and do act again and do follow and check it out how it's going. So these are going to be one type of you do. So here you gotta decide what to do now. If you're young, then probably you have more lifetime. So you're going to have much more possibility, probability, or capability in the future. So to do that or to be successful in that sense, you got to read and write and think. So you got to read and write and think, and then you do draw a much more bigger future. That means much more brighter future. So that is, in some sense, that is a very easier formation, but you gotta do follow the think. Your thinking is uh, guiding your uh, future. I mean, then you are going to be a successful in the future. I mean, so in that sense, your thinking is a one type of prophecy. So prophecy. So you present as a preview in that sense. So you decide what to do now. And first, you got a plan and do act, and then redesign your plan. We gotta have a break here, and then we are going to say about our world. So we gotta take a short break.